Hello everybody, welcome back. Chelsea beat Brighton 4-2, which leaves us 4th in the Premier League table at the end of the match weekend. The goals started from Brighton in the 7th minute after a mistake from Robert Sanchez. In the 21st minute, Cole Palmer equalized, and then in the 28th and 31st minute, Cole Palmer got a hat trick. In the 34th minute, Brighton got a goal back due to another mistake from Robert Sanchez, but Cole Palmer got a 4th goal in the 41st minute. We had 41% possession to Brighton's 59%. We had 4.16 XG to Brighton's 1.1. We had 15 shots and 7 on target to Brighton's 15-5. We had 7 big chances to Brighton's 3. We had 5 big chances missed to Brighton's 1. We had 376 passes to Brighton's 552. We had a 77% pass accuracy to Brighton's 86. We had 8 corners to Brighton's 2. We had 11 fouls to Brighton's 8. And we had 3 yellow cards to Brighton's 2. The lineup we went with Sanchez in goal. We went for Gusto and Cucurella on the fullbacks. We went for Fofana and Caldwell as the center back pairing. Enzo and Caicedo as the midfield, with the front four being Madueke, Sancho, Palmer, and Jackson. So I think this was a really big win. There are some negatives to talk about, but I'm going to start with the positives. This was a big win. Brighton have been a good team this season. They were undefeated going into this game. Like I said, they have a lot of attacking quality. They did have João Pedro out, I think, due to injury, but they still have a lot of attacking quality. And overall, they're a really good team, and this has become kind of like a grudge match between Chelsea and Brighton over the last couple of years. With everything that's gone on between Chelsea and Brighton, this has kind of become like a small derby. Like I said in the match preview, I think this win will really give our players confidence in themselves. It's 3 Premier League wins in a row, 4 wins in all competitions in a row. And even though it was a shaky start, they got the job done. This game showed that our attack is going to have no problem scoring goals. And yes, Cole Palmer scored all 4 of our goals, which is absolutely insane. I'll talk about him in a minute. But it's not just Cole Palmer. It's a system around him that works. I thought Jadon Sancho was great. I thought Jackson could have contributed with a goal, but his build-up play was good. But our attack is going to have no issues scoring goals this season, which is really, really nice. Because last season, if a team played a low block, we could not score against you. As for Cole Palmer is world class. He is undoubtedly one of the best players in the Premier League right now. He's the first player in Premier League history to score 4 goals in the first half. And if you think about it, he scored 4 goals in 20 minutes. Like, this guy is incredible. His first goal starts with Jackson, who's running down the wing and just hesitates and waits, and then lays it off to Palmer, and then Palmer gets a shot from outside the box that goes in. His second goal was a penalty that Jadon Sancho won. His third goal was a crazy free kick from, I don't even know how far out, but it was probably about 25 yards out. An incredible free kick, top corner. And then his fourth goal comes with a Jadon Sancho assist, and he runs in out wide and then slots it in near post. This guy is absolutely incredible. He is undoubtedly one of the top 5 players in the Premier League right now. Arguably top 3, undoubtedly. Like, this guy is absolutely world class. I thought Jadon Sancho was really good today too. He started off a bit shaky, but he grew into the match really well. His one-on-one capability is probably the best one-on-ones we have at this club. He is absolutely incredible in his one-on-ones and taking on a defense, and just his on-the-ball ability. He got an assist and won the penalty. The penalty, he took it in, passed it off to Enzo, and then made a run through, and I think Enzo laid it off, and then he got fouled in the box. And as for the assist, he takes it and just lays it through to Palmer. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's the first Chelsea player to get 3 assists in his first 3 Premier League games for Chelsea since Eden Hazard. Enzo Fernandez, this guy is really having a breakout season this season under this Enzo Maresca system, and it's amazing to see because I think Enzo is an incredible player, and I think Enzo Maresca is really starting to get the best out of him. I think once Enzo came out, we sort of started losing control in that midfield, and Enzo's on-the-ball ability is world class. I mean, his ability to just play passes, to take the ball, hold it in space, and then lay it off for a pass, his turning, his dribbling, and his defensive work is getting better. I think recently, in the past seasons, his defensive work hasn't really been that great, but now his defensive work is getting a bit better. But then having Caicedo next to him, I think they just work really well together. As Caicedo is kind of the dominant defensive midfielder, and you have Enzo, who is taking the ball and just being that deep-lying playmaker, which that is his best ability, just being that deep-lying playmaker. Another player that stood out to me, I thought Fofana was solid. Like I said, like with Sancho, I thought he was a little shaky at the start, but I think he grew into the match really well. Not only on the ball, but defensively. I thought defensively, he was really comfortable, making solid tackles, and then on the ball, he is insanely good on the ball. He's fast, he can dribble, he can make passes, he's extremely good on the ball, and arguably our best on-the-ball center back in the club. I thought Gusto looked great. He got the start after coming off of an injury and after playing 45 minutes against Barrow in the Cup. It really showed how much we need that natural right back. Disasi really did not work out at right back. Fofana was kind of shaky at right back, and now that Gusto's back, and Reece James is still injured, but I mean, that guy's always going to be injured. So it's nice to know that we have Gusto, who is an incredible right back. I also think the Stamford Bridge atmosphere in this game, I'm obviously watching it in TV because I live in America, but I can hear the fans. They're chanting for the players, they're clapping. Even when the player messed up, they were pushing them forward, just cheering for them. And it was incredible because it's been a very toxic environment over the last couple seasons. And even Enzo Fernandez, a player that has been kind of universally hated by a lot of fans, the whole stadium was chanting his name. So it's nice to see that Stamford Bridge is starting to unite again, and hopefully it becomes a difficult atmosphere for away teams to play under and a great atmosphere for our players to play under. Now, as for the negatives, we had an extremely poor first 20 minutes. We were super shaky. Brighton were really just having total control of the game, and Robert Sanchez, I got to start talking about him. He had two massive mistakes that I think unfortunately puts a bad look on our defense, because I thought our defense this game was pretty solid. But Robert Sanchez just completely let the clean sheet slip. He makes a stupid mistake, which I will give him credit for. That ball should have never been in that position in the first place. Caicedo takes the ball, and he could have just cleared it out, but he passes it back inside the box to Caldwell, who messes up the clearance, and then it ends up in the air, and Robert Sanchez should not have gone for this. Like, this is on him. He comes out, he goes to punch it instead of just trying to catch it, and then just completely misses it, and Brighton get a free header and get the first goal. It was a complete schoolboy mistake. Like, that was a absolute undeniable mistake. And for the second goal, he just completely passes it directly to a Brighton player, and he scores. This was one of the games, kind of like Disasi had against Bournemouth, where you're thinking, do I really want to see him play again for Chelsea? And I think this game has kind of been the story of Robert Sanchez. He has good games, he makes incredible saves, and then he makes stupid mistakes that cost us, like those mistakes. If we were playing a different team, maybe we don't score goals and we lose 2-0 because of those mistakes. Like, you cannot be making those mistakes. I'm wondering if we'll see Jorgensen play in the Premier League anytime soon. I wouldn't argue against it. I think Jorgensen's look good, not only in the Conference League, but in the Cup. So maybe we'll see Jorgensen in the Premier League soon, but this was an absolutely poor performance from Robert Sanchez. I also noticed that Gusto was inverting instead of Cucurella. This isn't really a negative, but I think we do control games much more when Cucurella is inverting instead of Gusto. So hopefully Maresca just lets Cucurella invert instead of Gusto. Especially, I think Cucurella's inverted runs, like forward, are much more helpful than Gusto's inverted runs. And Gusto is much better at going out wide, so I think if Enzo Maresca just plays Cucurella inverted and lets Gusto bomb on, that'll be a better way to play both of them at their strong suits. As for Jackson, I thought he was okay. He did get an assist, but he definitely could have scored at least 2 goals. He had 2 pretty big chances that he missed, and then he had 1 chance where he tried to pass it, but he should have just shot it. And I mean, that's kind of Nicholas Jackson. He has some great games, scores some goals, and then has unfortunate misses like he does. I don't fault him too much, but I would like to go back to the argument of having Christopher Nkunku start, because Christopher Nkunku is more lethal than Jackson. But I thought Jackson was decent. His on-the-ball ability is obviously great. His link-up play and dropping back was really good, but it was just not finishing those chances in the final third that could have cost us. We definitely could have conceded a few more goals in this game to Brighton. And Madueke, I thought he was okay. He's very selfish in the final third, and I will credit him off the ball. He plays very well dropping back. He's very mature in that. It sometimes even seems like he's playing as a right wing back, and his off-the-ball defensive actions are incredible, and I am super thankful to him for that, and he does a great job at it. But in the final third, he's very selfish. He doesn't lay off passes. He takes shots when he shouldn't. He had 1 shot that was just unlucky that went off the post that I thought was fair, but there were other opportunities where he's just not really making the right decision. So the only issue is he's so good off the ball, and that's something we really need And I don't know if Palmer can be as good defensively and off the ball as Nani is. So it's a bit questionable to drop him. But in the final third, I think he's become very selfish, unfortunately. And the topic I'll end on, a title race? I mean, I'm not going to say anything crazy, but we're putting teams away. Like, we're playing really, really good football, and we have Nottingham Forest coming up next in the Premier League. We win that game. I mean, going into the international break, we'll be top 4. We could be potentially higher than that, depending on if City, Arsenal, and Liverpool drop points. We're only 2 points off the top right now. And if we beat Forest, like I said in the match preview for this game, that puts us in a great position to go up against Liverpool at Anfield. And if we draw or win that game, I think we can make the argument for a title race. But I won't say anything crazy. It's still early on in the season. Let's just see what happens. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will have my match preview for our first Conference League game against Ghent up soon. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys next time.